All right, it's a Wednesday, so we get to catch up with Shane Steichen about his team, their availability, the preparation for this game against the Dolphins. And this is a huge game. You find a way to 4-3 with that Houston Texans game coming up next week. You got a chance to do some damage when you go down to Houston. You lose this game, it's an entirely different thing and a different feel for this season. This is the 1 week in 5 that the Colts get to play at home. And that's a big deal. You've got to hold serve at home. We talk about it all the time. Shane Steichen talks about home field. He talks about Anthony Richardson and his availability. Talks about Ryan Kelly, whether he's going to practice. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. We get updates on all of it.
What's the indication on Anthony today in terms of what will he be a full participant?
Yeah, he should be a full participant today.
Jonathan Taylor?
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how the week goes, but he's doing a lot better. A lot better.
You think he'll practice today?
Possibly. I don't know yet for sure.
What has your offense missed without Jonathan? I know it's kind of obvious, but just your...
Yeah, I mean, he gives us the big play, home run in the run game, the explosiveness, you know what I mean? He makes those big plays. We talked about it before, just the vision that he has and setting up blocks and hitting them. But shoot, Goody and Trey have stepped up and done well too. But hopefully we get JT back this week. It'll be big for our offense.
Has Goodson showed you something? He has some explosiveness of it on his own. But if you are without JT for a longer period of time, how do you see Goodson moving forward?
Shoot, he's stepping up for sure. You guys have seen the speed. I mean, he broke off a big one last week, but he's got that explosiveness. And the one thing that's crazy about him is that he can finish runs too. You know, he's able to finish runs and low his shoulder. So it's been great. I mean, to have that explosiveness that he has and the speed he has in the backfield definitely helps us for sure.
Is Trey banged up at all? So you signed a running back to the practice squad?
Yeah, he's got a little shoulder.
Monday, you guys mentioned you were still having conversations about Buck getting the 21-day window. Have you completed yet?
We're still working through that right now. Yeah.
Miami skill group, I mean, I know they haven't put up big numbers, but just for what they'll want to have done in their careers.
Yeah, they're two of the best in the league without a doubt. Big time speed. Big time speed. So we got to do a great job this week of staying on top of those guys because they're a big play waiting to happen. But they got a lot of skill guys. The running back's a good player. He's explosive. They do a lot of good things in the run game. You know, I think Mike does a hell of a job scheming that stuff up. So we got to play like we talked about last week. It's fundamentals. It's details. We got to be physical. We got to tackle for sure.
Is it a different tackling challenge given like they're more, I don't know, perimeter maybe with Hill and Waddle?
Say that again.
Is it like a different tackling challenge than most weeks just because Hill and Waddle are...
Yeah, it depends on who you're tackling. You know what I mean? Those guys in space are so explosive and fast that you got to stay connected to those guys. You know what I mean? Because if they are in space, if they make one guy miss, you know, it could be a home run. So we got to be all over it.
Shane, these losses this year, they've been close and they've been blown out when you think about it. When you continue to preach about just finishing these games, what we saw last week.
100%. I mean, these games, a lot of them come down to the fourth quarter. You don't want them to. You know, you want to have these big leads and put them away early. But if you look around the league week in and week out, it's these one-score games and finding ways to finish those, not beating yourself. And we talk about pre-snap penalties, eliminating penalties all the time, and winning the turnover battle is a big part of it because more games are lost than won in this league with mistakes. So we got to be all over. We got to be the smart football team and definitely find a way to finish.
Shane, why was it so important? I know you mentioned that you want AR, you and the team wanted to feel 100%. Like, why was that so important before you got back out there?
Just because he's a guy that touches the ball on every play, and it's a long season. We were in week 6 and wanted to make sure he's feeling 100% before he's back out there.
Shane, what have you seen from your O-line pass protection-wise this year?
They've been great. I'll tell you what. Again, I go back to the work ethic they put in, how tight-knit that group is, the individual time they put in, working on the pass protection, the footwork stuff, the hand placement. Playing together is a big part of that thing for sure. And those guys take pride in that for sure, protecting the quarterback back there. And they've been playing awesome. We got to continue that.
Shane, in relation to practice the Ryan Kelly.
He will not.
In relation to Miami, they're coming off a bye with a backup quarterback. Just how important is that when you have not your starter in to get that bye to kind of coalesce some things as an offense?
Yeah, I think that helps, right? Obviously, without having your starter in, a guy that's played a couple games, just honing in on the details of that offense. He's a guy that can make plays now. He runs around. He can make plays with his feet. He can make plays scrambling too. So to get that bye week under his belt, I think will be beneficial for him.
Shane, when you've got a player like Josh Downs that's so important to the offense, what goes into the decision that, I don't say expose him, but put him back on punt returns?
It's a good
The
question.
risk reward?
Yeah, I think he has such a natural feel, and he can handle that stuff. Obviously there's discussions that go into that, but he's got a great feel running routes, but he also has a great feel as a punt returner on setting up blocks and getting these explosive plays as a returner. So those discussions took place a couple of weeks ago, and shoot, he's been doing a hell of a job back there. So it's been good for us.
Shane, they're going to be without, obviously, their starting quarterback. How dangerous is it to not get caught up in that and just kind of focus in on
It's a great question. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter who's playing out there. You got to go execute in the NFL. It doesn't matter banged up. Everyone's got guys banged up and missing guys, and you got to have that mindset that it doesn't matter, and you got to go win the football game and go execute at a high level. Trust the guy next to you that he's going to make the play together, and that's what it's all about is playing together and finding ways no matter who's out there.
Shane, six weeks through the season, just what have you learned about this team battling through injuries, getting it done, just being 500 here?
Yeah, I think the resilience. I think there's a lot of resilience in this football team, and it is a long season. We're still early in this thing, but we're as you get into October, finding out about your team. I talked about it at the start of the year is, shoot, now's the time to kind of start, hitting your stride a little bit going into November, December to make a run. But the resilience that these guys play with, that next man up, it's been great to see. And these guys all are pulling for each other, so it's been great.
What's been missing from the pass rush and just finishing?
You know what? I think we're getting pressure there. We just, we haven't got the sacks. But, obviously, I think those are going to continue. They'll come. But as long as we're affecting the quarterback and getting him off the spot and playing tight coverage, you can affect the quarterback in that way too, getting the ball in his hands and forcing some bad decisions.
You thought you affected Levis better than you had the week prior?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job there.
Shane, what's it been like? Obviously, Anthony wants to play every day if he could, but getting to understand it's about your long term as well as maybe more so than right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to have a long career in this league, and you look, around this league. Obviously there are some guys that are. I've been around a guy that's started 225 games at quarterback, 230 games at Rivers that was a warrior. But that's rare. I mean, that doesn't happen a lot of times. You look at all these quarterbacks that have played for a long time, have went through something at some point in their career, and the longevity of staying healthy is a big part of it.
With Rivers, he played through injuries in his career for sure. Is that something Anthony's going to have to do to be able to play through injuries when he's not 100%?
Yeah, I think it depends on the injury. You know what I mean? He's a guy that can run around and make plays. Philip was a pocket passer. But we work through those things, and as you get going and getting older and feeling your body more and more, we'll work through those.
Shane, you talked about the magnitude of the stretch in October when you have a bit of a gauntlet of the schedule with so many road games stacked within a month's time. How much do you kind of have to take advantage of everything you have working in your favor with a weekend being at home?
Yeah, I think it's big, obviously, to play at home in front of our home crowd. I know the energy will be great, going into Lucas Oil. But I think it's interesting as the season gets going, every game gets bigger and bigger. I mean, it really does. So we got to come out ready to go, ready to play this week.
Shane, how did Pitt come out of the game and he practiced?
Yeah, he came out good. Yeah, we'll monitor him throughout the week, but he should be good to go.
What are those weekly conversations with him like? Is it simply like, if you can win, you're going to play?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Is it really just kind of up to him? I assume you can't do further damage to whatever the injury is. Will you just kind of follow his lead to a degree here?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that, that's been playing for a while. Trust, the toughness, we talk about it. I mean, as tough as they get. So as long as he's feeling good and can be out there and go execute for us.
And I guess you can watch him and see if he looks like himself too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we watch practice and have those conversations.
Is he a guy that you might have to, you can't just listen to him because he's going to want to play.
We always rely. We rely on him. We rely on the trainers and doctors.
When it comes to Pitt, though, how much does he love football? Because he got paid, he's only missed 5 years.
Yeah, he loves it. The ultimate competitor. loves competing, being out there with his guys. I mean, it means a lot to him. I mean, obviously, it doesn't, like you said, he got paid, it don't matter. He wants to play football, and that's what he loves doing. That's why he plays the game, and then about the other stuff, he loves it. He loves competing with his teammates.
Steichen's updates today, not very specific, other than to say that Ryan Kelly is not going to practice today. He left the game on Sunday with a calf against the Titans. Tanner Bortolini has been pretty good in his stead, so you don't feel like you're taking a big back step there if Ryan Kelly's unable to go on Sunday. Hopefully, Jonathan Taylor able to practice later this afternoon. Hopefully, Anthony Richardson able to play on Sunday. Colts obviously have a better chance to beat the Miami Dolphins with Anthony Richardson than they do with Joe Flacco. That's no shade to Flacco. Flacco's fine. Flacco is a really, really good backup. As a starter, he's not really, really good. You know, he's a back half of the NFL starter. That's okay. That's why he was on his couch last year for a while, and why the only call to Flacco this offseason was from the Colts, which is ridiculous to me. You think the Dolphins wouldn't love to have Joe Flacco right now playing in place of Huntley as Tua continues to languish on the IR? You bet your ass they would. That's it. No shade to Flacco, but this is a better offensive football team with Richardson with a much higher top end.